Young people are asking about marriage, relationship, courtship, just everything within that space. In order for that to happen, you must be first willing to identify the areas where that brokenness in your upbringing must have scarred you. What was the reason for their own failure? When you've seen people who have done this marriage thing for 35 years and they are still doing it, never cheated once, and never broke their marriage vows, because you cannot do, if all around you everyone is a serial cheater, you would think that's the way life is. I've seen people save for marriage, save for marriage. The moment it gets to that point, all the money is gone, and they are like, what happened? Marriage happened. You don't need cake to certify your marriage. It's authority that certifies a marriage, and there are 3 authorities you need to certify that marriage. If it is the marriage, or if it's the wedding we are talking about, how much money do you need to have? Just have the basic. Except you want to make a statement with the marriage. And truth be told, nobody's going to remember what you said or the statement you made with your marriage. Truth be told. Marriage is not a place for competition. My stability becomes your stability.
In a world full of confusion, pressure, and distractions, we help create content that gives clarity, direction, and practical wisdom that you can apply in your everyday life. So if you're a young person out there trying to figure out life, build a future, and stay grounded in God, then you're in the right place. Welcome once again to the podcast.
Hello, family. Welcome again. Welcome again to our channel. In this channel, we are all about young people. We are all about making them intentional and deliberate in key areas of their life, in their faith, their work with God, their finances, their family, business, career, everything that's touching a young man's life or a young woman's life. We are all about that within this channel. So if you know a young person, do well to share with them. Welcome again. So now we've been on the series on Gen Zs and marriage. Questions young people are asking about marriage, relationship, courtship, just everything within that space. And we have, like I said to us, we have questions that captures their fears, their identity, their purpose, their concerns. So those are the questions we are dealing with on this series. So we've had our first episode on this series. This is the second installment on the series. So let's get right into it as we talk about Gen Zs and marriage, questions young people are asking as touching the marriage institution. Okay, number one, our question here, and then we ended last week by asking if can can people who grew up in broken homes, can they have healthy families and steady families? Yes, they can. And like we said, we mentioned 3 things last week. In order for that to happen, you must be first willing to identify the areas where that brokenness in your upbringing must have scarred you. Number 2, the willingness to admit that I've been scarred. Number 3, the willingness to consistently do the work to come out. It's going to take a lot, but it is possible. It is possible. So right into it now. First question here for this week is, how do I stop my parents' failed marriage from affecting my own relationships? How do I stop my parents, their failed marriage, from affecting my own relationships? Now, the first thing you want to do is not first to hate on your parents. No, not to hate on them first. The first thing you want to do is to basically sit and identify what was the reason for their own failure. Parents may be good persons, good people, but what was the reason for their own failure? Was it a lack of knowledge? Was it a lack of empathy? Was it a lack of sacrifice? Was it a lack of submission? Was it a lack of, what was responsible? Was it even a lack of exposure? on the man's side. What was the reason first for their failure? The next thing you want to do is to build a body of knowledge by studying, by reading, by going to counseling, by talking to mentors. Have a body of knowledge that gives you the answer to that reason for their failure. That's the next thing you want to do. Build a body of knowledge in God's word, mentors, study around this. Find the answers. What could have been the answers to these issues? Find it. The third thing you want to have is, I recommend this a lot, have senior models that you and the person you intend to get married to, or if you're married, can talk to. When you've seen people who have done this marriage thing for 35 years and they are still doing it, never cheated once, never broke their marriage vows once, it inspires you. It inspires you. I was telling someone one time, I said, I know of people within my circle, and you see why circle is a very important thing, who they've been married to the same woman for 30 years plus, some 15 years, some 10 years, never cheated on her, not once. And now they say that there are different levels of cheating. That there's a cheating that it is not cheating except there is sex. So even if he called a young lady to the corner and harassed her, it's not cheating yet. I don't know how we got that definition anyway. But I don't believe that you watching will have that kind of definition. Well, you see, basically, cheating, even if your emotions have gone, is cheating. Just the fact that you are flirting with someone, it's the bedrock for it. It's part of it. And I know people who never had that once. When I said to the person was like, it's not true. That's what they told you now. No, it's not what they told me. It's what we know. Because you cannot do, if all around you, everyone is a serial cheater, you will think that's the way life is. So one of the things that has helped me and is still helping me, is surrounding myself with like-minded persons. You get now? So if you go in the opposite direction, if your parents, their own marriage failed, there are people who their own did not fail, and you surround yourself with such persons, you see now, it becomes an insulation from such occurrence in your own life. You get that? That's a beautiful question. So, next question here that someone is asking is, how much money should you have before getting married? Yes, I used to be here too. I used to always tell people that before I get married, this was my own talk. Before I get married, I'll have a car. I will have at least my own house that I built. If I have those two, I'm good, and I can get married. That used to be my thinking. And there is nothing wrong with that. I understand where that thought comes from. It comes from a place of having a form of stability before getting married. And I get it's not a bad motive, but I have found that many times life doesn't work like that. Marriage, if you see marriage as a project or like a business, it's like a businessman saying, until I have all my capital, I'm not going to move. And the moment you do that, what begins to happen is the fact that you will never move, because life does not work like that. All the lights cannot be green before you move. Same thing happens in marriage. The moment you have, there is no specific amount you can say to you that, okay, have £1 billion in your account. And especially if you don't come from that kind of a background, there are certain persons who, they come from that point. Well, you see, but marriage is dynamic. No, I don't think any money is enough, because it's as you go, you make it up. I mean financially. as you go to a large extent, depending on your level. Even if you are a billionaire, you will do things at that level of being a billionaire. I hope you are aware. So you cannot even have enough money at that level of being a billionaire, because the bigger the financial space you operate in, the bigger the maintenance of that space, the things needed to maintain it. So even at that level, you cannot have enough money at that level to be able to say you have it all, then you should move. I've seen people save for marriage, save for marriage. The moment it gets to that point, all the money is gone. And they are like, what happened? Marriage happened. So basically, there is no amount we can give to say, okay, if you do this, if you do that, you would have saved enough for it. So what we would normally advise is have some form of first income, a steady flow of income. From there, have enough savings to do the basic things you need to do. In this part of our world, you have to settle the family traditionally. You have to, if you want to, I think that's optional now. If you want to throw out big wedding for white wedding and reception, those things are optional now. I know people who all they did on a Sunday morning, they came to church, the church joined them, no cake, nothing, no, and they went home. And they are married today, and the marriage is still ongoing. Somebody is saying, it's still ongoing. What certifies your marriage is authorities of the church, authorities of the Nigerian government, authorities of the families certifying it. You don't need cake to certify your marriage. It's authority that certifies a marriage. And there are three authorities you need to certify that marriage: the church, if you're a Christian, and I believe you're a Christian, the church, the Nigerian government, that's the courts, and also the families, the man's family, the girl's family. If those people are in place, cake and every other thing you want to do is optional. It's optional. So that you don't put yourself under pressure. If it is the marriage, or if it's the wedding we are talking about, how much money do you need to have? Just have the basic. The basic. Except you want to make a statement with the marriage. And truth be told, nobody's going to remember what you said or the statement you made with your marriage. Truth be told. Okay, let's take one more question as we round up on this episode. One more question. He said, should both partners be financially stable before saying I do? Should both partners be financially stable before saying I do? Not necessarily. It's an advantage if they are both financially stable. But you see, even if it's one that is financially stable, the idea of marriage is that the two shall become one. Marriage is not a place for competition, where even if it's the lady who is first stable financially, I know of people who they are more stable than their husbands financially. Yes, and I know of situations where the husband is more stable than the wife financially. But the two shall become one. My stability becomes your stability. If I am stable before getting married to you, now that we are married, I will find how to stabilize you that is not too stable. That's the whole idea. So the two persons do not necessarily have to be financially stable before marriage. One person can be stable and it's fine and they can move on. Just having the basic is fine. Okay, so we've come to the end of this episode. We'll continue from this next week as we are talking about Gen Zs and marriage. Questions young people are asking as touching marriage, courtship, relationship, and everything within that space. Again, thank you for watching, and see you when I see you.